Hello, this is a video for week 11 in-class work for Miss G's Comp 2 classes. In this video, I'm going to talk about what we did in class today in terms of discussion and activities. Let's get started. So before class this week, I had you guys read about proposals, and obviously that's what kind of paper we're going to be working on. So I'm going to just give a few notes, and we're going to concentrate more on doing activities and looking at the assignment sheet today since you've already read about proposals. I'm also going to give some ideas at the end about how to come up with an idea for this paper. So first, just kind of a reminder, right? Proposals imply that something should happen, right? And that it goes to the idea of practice versus policy, and just thinking about something that we want to see happen. But we also want to give reasons, and that's part of argument, right? Is supporting our claims with reasons. And there's a formula I took from page 287 that really boils down what our claim will look like. And of course, this is a very basic formula. But A should do B because of C. So B is the actual solution, right? And C is the reasons for, why we think that. And A is the person who can do something about it. And that's a really important part of this is thinking about who can do something about the problem. And I'm going to use the idea of problem and solution a lot. So another way of thinking about proposals is problem solution papers. So it's going to be taken up half of proving there's a problem and half of, so to speak, half and half, but of proving that your solution will solve it. And yes, it should be realistic and feasible. So, it'd be nice to say giving every student $1 million would help solve student debt. Yes, that's true, but it's not very realistic or feasible. So as you're thinking about topics, think about something that's actually doable. So to get us started, I did an in-class activity that had students kind of walk through the process of coming up with a topic for a proposal. And I'm going to have you guys do this on your own. So there's a link in the in-class materials folder for this week called ICA in-class activity week 11. And I would like you to do this on your own. Oops, sorry. Which is in that in-class activity, come up with a list of at least 12 things that annoy you about UCM or Warrensburg. So basically problems. What are some problems about living or going to school in UCM or Warrensburg? So come up with 12 things. Or 12 problems. After that, choose 3 of the 12 and come up with a few solutions for each of those 3. For each of your solutions, notate whether it is a matter of practice or policy. And remember, those are 2 kinds of problem solutions. And then from those 3, pick one and think of an audience, an appropriate audience that you could address a paper on this topic to. Obviously, it's this kind of a silly topic, but again, just getting us, start to practicing thinking about things in these terms. And remember, your audience should be someone who can do something about it. So we took about 12-15 minutes to do this in class. So go ahead and pause this video. This is the only part of our in-class activity that you need to turn into Blackboard. And I'll show you real quick. And again, you should submit it here in the in-class activity for week 11. Okay, again, go ahead and pause the video. So when you're ready to move on, again, I want you to think about the process you just went through in terms of thinking of a lot of topics you could write on and narrowing it down to things that you could actually come up with solutions for, and that could be addressed to someone specific. So on that note, the next thing we did in class was look at the essay 4 assignment, as well as the assignment for an annotated bibliography that is associated with the research you're going to do for essay 4. And you'll find links to both of these in the week 11 in-class materials folder. The essay 4 assignment sheet lives with all the other ones in the essay need to know folder. So let's look at that first. I want to start by looking at the topic itself, and then we'll come back and look at the deadlines. So this middle part here basically describes, the idea of proposals and the things that we've been talking about in class and before class today. And then thinking about the specifics, though, I want you to think about everyday problems that you encounter. So I am very specific here in terms of problems that are related to your major or job or your field of study, but I'm open to broader experiences, so things that you might come across in your day-to-day life as opposed to just job related. Just in terms of finding sources, it might be easier if it's a little more academic. But that said, I'm willing to entertain lots of possibilities. just as long as it's not the same as the topic you wrote about for essays 2 and 3. So that's the first one. And just like the mapping a controversy assignment back in essay 2, it's pretty broad. The second one asks you to think about a proposal that's already been made. Okay, so one that you've heard in the news or on the media. It can be political, cultural, transportation, lifestyle, so social, and think about why it's wrong, right? So in this one, compose a proposal that explains why that proposal is a bad idea. Alternatively, you could endorse it. So basically, this one asks you to come up with a new problem solution pair, and this one asks you to look at one that already exists. Okay, excuse me. While you're thinking of a topic, I want you to think about making sure it has kairos, right? It's timely and it matters. It should be a topic that you'll be able to find enough research on. An issue that some students ran into with essays 2 and 3 was that it's like, say, the COVID vaccine is such a current topic. There wasn't a lot out there yet. So this is definitely an essay where you're going to need a lot of sources, especially for the annotated bibliography, which I'll talk about after this. It should also be a topic that will capture your interest, because for Unit 5, we're going to take the argument you're making in Unit 4 and transform it into something else besides a paper. So we're still going to be using our research, we're just going to be doing it beyond words, which of course I'll explain more in Unit 5. But again, thinking about this is something you're going to be thinking about for until the end of the semester. So, choose something you'll be interested in, and then also think about overworn topics. So some of these are elements we had to think about for the mapping a controversy essay. It's not exactly the same, and some of you actually wrote about problems for that essay, and that's fine. But again, you can't write on the same topic, and that's, I think, should be obvious. So that's the basics and the specifics of the actual assignment, what you're going to be writing on. So let's scroll back up here to the deadlines. And essay 4, the process is very similar to the last two. It's going to be 4 weeks though, instead of 3 weeks. And then we also have this annotated bibliography assignment. So that's the biggest change to prior units. So topic proposals are going to be due before class, or sorry, at the end of this week. The 2 sources and 5 sources assignments are steps to get us to the annotated bib, which again I'm going to describe after this essay, after the essay assignment sheet. The second draft is a little different. Let me go down and look at that. So I am going to have you turn in a second draft like usual. I'm going to fix this. It should say 2 to 3 full pages. But the biggest difference is I want you to make some highlights to it before you turn it in. I would like you to highlight your integration, so where you're setting up quotes in yellow, highlight the actual quotes themselves in turquoise, and then where you analyze them, the quotes in light gray. So before you do that, and then whenever we do the peer review, I'll have some questions on the peer review form that have your peers look at those and do some activities with them. So that's a little different in terms of that, that draft. Okay, and then the peer review is actually going to be a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday instead of a Monday, Tuesday like we've been doing. So we have a little more time for that, and the required tutorials last all week. And again, because everyone's going to be meeting for one, so I had to take more time. But the process is basically the same. Just everyone has to do it, and then the final draft and rhetorical reflection. And there should be the revision plan is not listed here, I just realized, but should be. Oh, I just realized that there is a revision. Oh yeah, here it is right there. Sorry. Yeah, I'm getting confused. It's been a long day. Okay, down here at the bottom of page 2, final draft requirements. This is our longest essay. It's our last essay. This is the essay where you're going to show me everything that you've learned this semester, right? Putting all those pieces together, using sources, finding sources, evaluating sources, persuading the reader logically, emotionally, using credibility and trustworthiness to get them to trust you. So this is your chance to show me again. You should use 5 to 7 sources for this paper. But everything else is pretty standard based on what we've been doing so far. We have our portfolio checklist last. You should already have through, I left off the rhetorical reflection for essay 3, but you should have through that, right? So we're just adding our essay 4 items, and of course by this point you're portfolios are probably getting pretty full, and you probably are starting to understand why I've been so strict with you about naming the files. So if you don't have any questions about that, or if you do, just let me know. The next thing I want to do is look at the annotated bibliography assignment. So this one actually lives in the folder called Other Assignments in the Syllabus and Course Documents folder. So the essays all live here. The annotated bib is here. There is a model just for template purposes. But let's look at the actual assignment sheet. So the research you're going to do for essay 4 is what you're going to use for the annotated bib. And actually you should sort of think about it as the annotated bibs research is going to inform essay 4. So this is basically a practice in finding sources, documenting them, and evaluating them, right? All these things that we've been talking about all semester. So annotated bibliography is a list of sources. That's what a bibliography is. But we've added annotations to them. Annotations are comments or explanations. So you're going to turn in this assignment. It's going to cite and annotate 10 sources that you could use that are related to your topic for essay 4. Right? So if you think about the research process, you're starting with hundreds or thousands of sources and you're narrowing them down at this point to 10. Okay? So after that, after this assignment, sorry, you should think about narrowing them further because you're only going to use 5 to 7 on essay 4. So it's this idea of narrowing to the most appropriate, to the most relevant sources for our essay. Okay, so you're already doing the research for your essay. The annotated bib is more about sort of documenting the ones you, taking a snapshot, right, so to speak, of the ones that you're going to use at a certain point in time when there are 10. Okay, I did attach a CRAP worksheet at the bottom here, so for when you're evaluating, that will help you. So there are some requirements in terms of types of sources. You should use at least 3 books or book chapters. You should have at least 3 academic journal articles. Those can be print or online. You may use 1 website, but you do not have to use a website. If you do use a website, it should be a .org, .gov, or .edu only. You may not use any reference sources. You can use them on your paper, just not on the annotated bib. Formatting should be MLA, right? Alphabetical, double space, hanging indented, all of that. And for each one, you'll get 3 points for the correct MLA citation and 4.5 points for the annotation, which should identify the thesis, summarize the source, and analyze the source. You should use your books and not auto-cite functions or Word. They're almost always wrong, and I can always tell, and you should just use your book and do it right. Again, there's the CRAP worksheet back here in the folder. Here's the example in terms of formatting, right? We have a citation, and then I've abbreviated the annotations just to fit them on one page. So citation, annotation, citation, annotation. It should look boring, right? It's MLA. We just want to focus on what you're giving us, not on the fancy formatting. So I'm rushing a little bit here at the end because I'm running out of time. So please let me know if you have any questions about any of the in-class activities or the essay 4 assignment sheet or the annotated bib assignment. Looking ahead, the 3 readings I gave you for after class are proposal arguments, so examples of what you'll be doing. Of course, the reading journal will have questions about them. I would like to see topics by Sunday. If you're having trouble finding a topic, please reach out to me. I have office hours on Friday, or you can set up a meeting, and I'm happy to help with brainstorming, or even if you have something broad and want to narrow it, that's what I'm here for. Looking ahead to week 12, we're going to be doing a sort of a refresher. I call it Using Sources Redux on using sources, and you're going to have your final using sources quiz. And again, this is where we're putting everything together: using sources, finding sources, evaluating them. Can you practice those skills that we focused on this unit or this whole semester? And then one more thing really fast, in the in-class materials folder, there is an extra credit opportunity for you guys. It involves Politics and Social Justice Week, and if you attend an event and turn in a 1-page write-up of the event, you can earn up to 10 extra credit points per 1-page commentary, and you can do a total of 2 of those for up to 20 extra credit points. I've attached the schedule there, but let me know if you have any questions. If you do want to do that, just turn them in here to the week 11 in-class materials folder. Whew, I'm about out of time. Let me know if you have questions, and I hope I will see you guys next week.